Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch does get an honorable mention at the beginning of the stream because we like our Sasquatch. And Arden Party and Yiz, old friends in the channel, always welcome anytime. But today, uh, I'm talking with my old friend Mandatory Carry. And because we were discussing, I did a recent video on Iran. I gave some of my hot takes on that because I have a big fucking mouth.
It was
But
more
he
like a
also,
warm. That was more of a warm take.
really? Okay. But we also got back to talking about Ukraine and
Yeah.
some of our differences there, because I have not changed my mind on Ukraine. Personally, I'm rather I don't
Ambivalent.
want to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was right on this one. Like we should not have gone. Like it. But anyways,
Right. Well, um, you want to kill some time while people wander in off the street?
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's kill some time before we dive into the meat of this. So let's get a few warm ups up. So let's bat it up. Um, what's on your mind? Because I really
Well,
did
I,
not come prepared.
I was thinking maybe that scientist.
The scientist. All right. That was on Discord. Okay. Oh, let me open link. Using site. And, all right. No, like this. There we go.
A little while
And
practice, huh?
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Same here.
Here we go. Got it. I got it. I remember. I remember this. All right. So we have a Daily Mail article about a NASA scientist who died 3 times, saw the same thing every time, and it wasn't the pearly gates of heaven. Now,
Yep,
you
yep,
actually
yep.
had a
Okay, that's fair.
you had an alternative interpretation
Well,
of these events.
yeah.
So unless
Go ahead.
so unless the scientist claims she did not just die once, but 3 times, and saw the exact same thing each time. Her name is Ingrid Honkala, age 55. Said she had near-death experiences at the ages of 2, 25, and 52. All right. While each incident unfolded differently, she said the outcome was identical. She entered a strange state of complete calm, with no fear, no sense of time, and a feeling of separating from her physical body. She also described it as becoming, quote, pure awareness, immersed in what she calls a vast interconnected consciousness filled with light, clarity, and peace. She also claimed that this was not a fleeting hallucination, but a consistent experience she returned to every time she came close to death. The scientist now believes these moments offered a glimpse into what lies beyond human life, challenging the idea that consciousness ends when the body shuts down. Her claims, which blur the line between science and spirituality, are already sparking debate over what really happens when we die. And despite skepticism, she insisted the experiences were more real than anything she had felt in the physical world. I'm gonna cut it off there. I don't think we need to go any further.
Not really.
That is that's a good synopsis of what is going on here. So, with that in mind, let us return to our original presentation. So, what is your take on this?
She never used the word heaven. but the description she gives is exactly like every other description I've ever heard of heaven. All right, there are people who've had near death experience, and they say they went to hell. Um, one in particular, I think, well, he wrote a book, and I think it was 28 Minutes in Hell, something like that.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. Uh, what he described is being in absolute darkness and utterly alone. And
I
that's a
I
consistent
know.
theme as well.
Yeah, I've known of one other person who actually has had a near death experience and remembers what that experience was. Because let's face it, there are people who quote unquote die all the time. What's not common is having any recollection of it. That's what's uncommon. Most people don't remember, as 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 is per usual course. I've only I've only run into the account where all they feel is the darkness, and I believe that to be more typical. Not because hang on,
No,
let me
keep going.
poke. I don't think that's because they're necessarily quote unquote in hell. I think it's because that is just the state of themselves. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what to expect, or they don't have um they're not rooted, they're not grounded, so to speak. And I'm even skeptical um of the I've always been skeptical of those who say, "Oh, I went to heaven, I met so and so, we got together and all this stuff." Like I've all of those books where people talk about their near death experiences and meeting people, I'm highly skeptical. And but this other person that I talked to who was in this darkness state, he mentions that while he was alone, no, that was the weird thing, is even though he himself was not he wasn't interacting with any other beings, he didn't necessarily feel completely alone. He was just in darkness. And whatever was out there, he was unable to perceive of it. But there was a feeling of, there's something else here.
I'm going to ask a wild question here.
All right.
You say you know this uh, you know him personally, right? Um, what kind of life is he living, or was he living?
But not a good one. Uh, um,
Mhm.
this was someone who had attempted suicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's self-unaliving. However, we'll put that. However, YouTube decides to moderate this. I am not an expert on TOS at all. Mea culpa, mea culpa.
Or you can go fuck yourself. Fuck YouTube. Oh,
Hmm.
that's me. So you disavow that.
Obviously, we disavow people who want to disavow the TOS.
That would be me. Um,
Good old mandatory carry, doing doing what is per usual on my channel. Oh, fuck me.
um,
Anyways,
yeah. Well, I'll save that for my own channel. I had a thought, but I'll save it for my own channel. Um, in the meantime, yeah. I mean, it's very consistent. People who have been living bad, um, if they come back, and they remember anything, they do tend to report darkness, being alone. The 28 minutes in hell. Um, he does describe demons and monsters that tormented him after being alone for a while. Uh, oh, I remember something else. He described there being one single point of light. Um, and his story is that he went to hell so he could come back and tell us what it was like. Um, and, so I mean that's how he ended up there. Um, is it true? Well, I mean, when 1,000 people all say the same thing with difference of spelling error, right? What am I
I
supposed
mean,
to say?
yes and no. Um, you do have those people who are again on the fringes. We have those one-off where people claim that they died and they saw their relatives, and that's I'm not inclined to give that credence. I think they're making stuff up. Um, so there is a preponderance of the majority of people who have these experiences coming back and remembering. It's usually those two dual outcomes. We do have those, in my opinion, falsified outliers. Um,
That's a hot take, bud.
but it's the question is, so you have people on one side saying that they feel this, that they're experiencing this vast connectivity, um, and you have others saying that they're isolated and that they're alone. Um, that's an interesting juxtaposition.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It,
I also believe that heaven is at least in part what you want it to be, right? My version of heaven,
hmm,
not everybody would agree. Um, versus yours, I'm sure a lot more people would agree. Why did you mute yourself? Um, so you
you'll
gotta,
see, you'll see.
you got to kind of factor that into it a little bit. Is holy shit! That's why.
Oh fuck, dude. What? What? What?
This is the second time I've ever seen his face.
You've seen my face several times. Stop lying.
No, no,
Stop
just
bullshitting.
now and once on Exile's channel because I totally
Really?
freaked out. I did. I totally freaked out because I thought you had a beard.
Um, I did
Oh well.
a while ago, and actually, the mutton chops went away. Hang on, I gotta fix this camera. This position is not doing it for me. Give me a sec. So yeah, that's let me just move my camera real quick.
Folks, that's a first. Well, a second.
Fuck.
Technically a
There we
second.
go. So, but yeah, it's you distracted me with the whole camera reveal. What the fuck were we talking
Okay.
about?
Uh, heaven. I have a vision of heaven that I'm sure most people would not look forward to. Versus I'm sure you have a different vision. Um, surrounded by
Probably.
your loved ones. Um, mine is to actually be turned around and sent right back down as a guardian angel for the worst situation I can probably get into.
Oh,
Yeah. Hey, guess
okay.
what,
That's
Karen?
fair enough.
You've got to keep this IED alive. for another 8 months. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, here we go. Back to the front.
All right, so we're about 15 minutes in. So let's dive into this
Yeah,
the Iran, the Ukraine, the entire uh, the penchant for war to break out over things that are not the United States business,
yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
What was
Well,
your take on Ukraine that you disagreed on me with? Refresh my memory.
can we come back to that one? Because I think
Okay.
Iran will be a significantly less contentious discussion.
Okay. All right. Fair
Woo.
enough.
Um, like people. Okay, tell me what you think you know about the Iranian Revolution of 1979.
Absolutely fucking nothing. Like I don't. Okay. Here's what I recall.
Okay,
They were not. They weren't Islamic. They were not.
keep going.
Prior to.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Um, from what I understand, they had education. They were. I'm not going to say liberal. But they were, say, more Western like.
Um, Time out. Saying liberal or conservative, you really are on a spectrum, right? So compared to,
Hmm.
say, Saudi Arabia, all right, or Afghanistan at the time when Afghanistan, Iran in the 70s was extremely liberal. Uh,
Hmm.
versus now, Iran is still liberal compared to Afghanistan today. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you want an extremist religious state? Afghanistan's your place.
Well, I mean, um, I'm sorry, but when it comes to the topic of Afghanistan and its political climate, we're talking about a place where we propped up the regime that supported the victimization of young boys,
Pause.
and the United States, yes.
Pause. There is a lot more to that story than that.
Hmm.
But we uh, we did pave the road that eventually led to the Taliban taking over. That,
Yeah,
that,
and I,
that's
I I
true.
think there's a legitimate moral question as to whether or not Afghanistan's better under Taliban than whatever the hell we were doing.
Um, Sometimes you got to pick your poison, and as you will see, I am very, very confident in picking my poison.
Hmm.
Let's keep going. All right, so I'm going to short circuit this a whole lot. Um, in the 70s, there was a king, um,
Okay.
Muhammad Paul. God damn it,
You
Paul.
can just say
Anyway, the
sand
Shah of Iran,
person name.
the Shah of Iran, and he was questionably competent, to be perfectly blunt. He was not he was not a very good king. Uh,
Hmm.
Amongst other things, he commuted a death sentence against a traitor uh, to banishment. He held a huge uh, uh, wine and dine for potential investors that ended up doing absolutely nothing. Nobody invested in the country because there was instability. Oh, um, he's just. it was like he was the Joe Biden of Iranian politics.
Okay.
Um, that traitor that I mentioned was a man named Rumallah Khom- Rumallah Khomeini, um, who was banished to Egypt, and then when the Shah got sick, and the people were kind of mad anyway about, especially about that investment uh, profile,
Hmm.
he came back. Now,
As one does.
well, when one sees an opportunity, one does return. Um, People think that the Iranian Revolution was the majority Muslim population. No, the majority population of Iran is actually Zoroastrian. Um, I
Okay.
I more recently found that out than, but anyway, um, but the revolution was propped up by Russia. It was
Hmm.
founded and it was propped up and funded literally until the day that Ramallah came back from Egypt and co-opted what had been built. And that's the day that the long knives came out. Well,
Ah.
the day that the regime collapsed. Um, the first thing that Ramallah and his followers did was start killing all the communists, or as many as they could, as quickly as they could. It was literally a coup within the coup, and declared themselves the new rulers of Iran. Um,
So communists being communists.
well, terrorists being terrorists. Um,
Okay.
and you know, um, I refer to the regime in Iran as a satanic death cult. And everybody says, "No, no, 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 they're Muslim." No, you have Satan worshippers in every single religion, right? You name it. There's
Oh,
there's going to be somebody in that faith, somebody who claims to be that faith, who obeys Satan or Lucifer or whatever their name for him is. Um, and
okay. Hang on. I need to clarify this. So, are we saying that the leaders of the Iranian regime are fake Islamists?
yeah, that's a good enough answer.
Okay. Um, that's news to me. Um, so continue on with your um
Yeah,
with laying the foundation. I do have a few follow-up questions about the nature of the regime, the consequences of the regime, possible justifications for eradicating the regime, and just my overall very basic bitch understanding of that entire situation. So
that's fair.
go forward.
Um, so anyway, the regime takes over, and first of all, the country's in bad financial shape. Gee, they just came out of a coup created by an economic downturn. You know, I described the Shah as the Joe Biden of kingship. So yeah, you know, he fucked up. He screwed up everywhere he
Hmm.
could. Um, and they're in bad financial shape. So they get into some shady business activities that in Iran is legal, in the United States and Europe are not. Take that for
Mm.
what it is. And they find themselves in a great opportunity, not just to make money, but to gain influence over other parties. Um,
Okay.
so now we flash forward uh, to 11 September 2001.
Okay.
Four planes crash, two into the World Trade Center, one into the Pentagon, and the fourth into a field in Pennsylvania. The whole
Yes.
world explodes. Oh, everybody's ready to fight, right? Even the Taliban was like, we may have fucked up here. And I want to clarify something. The Taliban was the rulers of Afghanistan. Al Qaeda was guests in their country, and it was Al Qaeda that
Hmm.
attacked the United States. That'd be like saying, the, if during World War II, if one particular battalion, or one particular club, really, political club in Japan had bombed Pearl Harbor, but not Japan and the Japanese Navy. Um,
Oh,
um, the whole world's ready to fight, and the Taliban's not going to hand over Bin Laden because, in their custom, they can't. Um, so fuck you. We're going to come in there and take him ourselves. And in the process, the Taliban fought back, and we ended up invading Afghanistan. Um, Now, I know nobody believes me, especially because of the Jalalabad raid, but the majority of the Taliban ran to Iran, including the majority
hmm.
of the leaders that survived this period. I know Bin Laden supposedly ran to Jalalabad and hid out there for the next, what was it, 6 years, 8 years, whatever. Um, but the majority of them went to Iran, and Iran took them in, gave them shelter, and in the meantime, U.S. is looking for another fight. We're not done. All right, we're still
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah, that yeah, we were all baying for blood at that point, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Um, certain parties, yeah, in Washington D.C. especially, we're looking at the world and saying, who are we going to fight next? And through 2002, the war drums are pounding. Um, and I keep hearing Iran. This name keeps popping up, or excuse me, Iraq, over and over and over again. Saddam, and thinking this must be some sort of strategic decoy or something, because Iraq's a sideshow. All right, it's not even worth the trouble. Um, Iran is
Yeah.
a real Iran is a real threat. So why are we even talking about Iraq? Um, but we kept talking about Iraq, and then in what was it, March or May of 2003, it's on. Shit. Well, I guess this is what we're going to do now, but here in a year or two, we need to deal with the real threats, which is right
Okay.
across the Persian Gulf. Um, so the now there's some interesting details about the invasion of Iraq that I'm going to get back to in a minute. But Iran, the Ayatollah and his advisors, they're looking at what's happening in Iraq, and they're thinking, we're going to be next. We're going to be next. We got to do
Okay.
something. So they start finding people in Iraq rather, who are disaffected by the U.S. invasion, and that was not hard at all. Like
No, it wouldn't be. It
90,
wouldn't be.
90% of the Iraqi army was easily recruitable, because we had literally disbanded the Iraqi army within weeks of the invasion, or the capitulation of Baghdad, and sent them all
Hmm.
home with nothing. Well, now they're unpaid, unfed, and unhappy as fuck. That's
No,
happened before.
it's actually worse than that.
Heck,
Not
worse.
only are they unpaid and unfed, when they went back home, they had no water, they had no electricity, they had no infrastructure to speak of, because that's what happens when America decides you're the next target. It is a modern version of scorched earth.
Slow down.
We take out. All
Some
right,
of that
slowing
was
down.
pre-existing.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll. You know.
Rolling blackouts were the
It,
norm in Iraq.
okay. There's a difference between a rolling blackout and a
Yeah, well, yeah.
designated power plant.
Um, yeah. It was much worse at this point. You're right.
Yeah.
Um,
They had tons of motivation to defect.
they had if I'd been in their position, I might have too, at that point.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Um, Iran seeing this and saying, this is a real strong pool that we could draw from to at least start an insurrection and keep the Americans tied up in Iraq for decades. They'll never bother us. Um, and you know what? They,
Okay.
they were right. We're still tied up in Iraq now, not as badly as we were, say 2008, 9, 10, but we're still tied up there. They're right. That was an excellent plan. But wars cost money. Did you know that?
No, this is totally news. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that bombs were free. I thought that, the
Well,
whole Joker meme of gasoline and bullets and all that shit being cheap was just, it's cheap, right?
yeah. Well,
You don't need money to run chaos.
no. Oh, you don't need money for chaos, but you need money for a war. Um,
Yes, you do.
yeah. The deal with the ISIS. ISIS was never really one specific body. It was actually like 100 or so militias that had united under one
Okay.
general flag. It'd be like if all of the counties of Nevada were technically separate legal entities, but we all decided, you know what? We're going to fight everybody else under one flag. Oh, which flag is that going to be? I guess we're going to call ourselves Nevada. Um. So anyway, the uh, the deal with ISIS was, we'll give you training, we'll give you training, supplies, guns, intelligence, everything else you need, and you're going to give us oil. Um,
Okay.
that was working out for a little while until ISIS did something very stupid. Folks, do not fuck with Persian money; they will kill you. That's it.
Oh,
They do not fuck around. Um, the ISIS started selling semi-refined oil to Turkey.
okay. Um, is semi-refined oil, is that marketable?
Yo, very, very.
Okay.
I think they call it heavy and light sweet.
Okay. So they're selling a legitimate product.
Hmm.
I suppose they're selling it to the wrong person.
They're selling it to the wrong motherfuckers.
Okay. All
They
right.
just
That's
they the
I'm a
deal
little
was
slow on the geopolitical uptake, but okay, let's keep rolling.
the deal was you give it to Iran, and all of a sudden they're selling it to or sell it to Iran, and all of a sudden they're selling it to Turkey instead. So Iran is not getting that money back.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
and
They
I have to be honest. I don't blame them
okay.
for what happens, or I don't blame Tehran at all for what happens next. Um, they turned on their mercenaries in Iraq so hard, that within a year they were gone. The Iranian Quds force, I think it was actually in Iraq hunting certain key leaders of ISIS.
Now, they also had Russian assistance, did they not?
Not really.
Not
Um,
really?
a little bit of weapons bought. Iran buys weapons from Russia and gives them to ISIS,
Okay.
more along those lines. No, as a matter of fact, there was a unexploded piece of ordnance that was recovered from a would-be ambush site that was absolutely Iranian in origin. It was,
Oh,
yeah, and it was based on an American anti-vehicle weapon. The
of course it
Ukrainian, or
is.
I'm sorry, the Iranians were able to reverse engineer. Well, we based it on something that we got off of the battlefields of Vietnam, that the Vietnamese got off of the Russians, and I think the Russians got it off the Germans. So, um,
I knew the end of that chain was Germany. Don't ask me how I knew that. I'm like, he's gonna get back to Germany. Eventually we're gonna get back to the Germans.
well, I can go a little bit further. Is they based it on an idea that came out of America, that the Americans based on something out of Britain, I think it was. So you keep going back and back and back. Eventually, it's uh, Cain and Abel with a rock. Uh, but anyway, yeah, we were able to recover this armor penetrator from an ambush site that just hadn't exploded, and we were able to say, yes, this is Iranian technology, and I don't know how they did that. This is very, very
Okay.
early on, by the way. I don't even think ISIS exists as a name yet, and yet here we are already. The Iranians played the smartest hand they possibly could. Rather than fight America in Iran, they supported Iraqis to fight America in Iraq. If
Okay.
you've ever, if you've ever read The Prince, this should sound very familiar. Unfortunately, I'm on my phone right now, so I can't read the effective passage, but it's exactly what Machiavelli said to do: fight them, support a faction abroad, so you don't have to fight them here.
Okay. Makes sense. I always love an appeal to Machiavelli. Um, so just for clarification,
Hmm.
um, was the Iranian regime responsible for the de-Christianization of Africa?
I know I don't know enough to know, but I don't know about that.
Okay.
I do know that they backed several of the militias across Africa.
That is what I'd heard. That the money and the funding
A lot
for
of it
all these independent Islamic um,
independent.
cells that were targeting Christians, that were killing Christians wholesale, were in fact ultimately funded by Iran.
I know some of them are. Um,
Okay.
Al Shabaab and the one down in Congo. Uh,
Hmm.
and I think Al Shabaab crosses the uh, um, Syrian, no, Nigerian border. Uh, there's another one down in the Congo that is absolutely like just Iranian puppet mercenary army. Um, but I can't say all of them. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that could say, "Oh yeah, it's all of them," and I can't argue with them. Um, so yeah, at this point, that's where we are there. All right. You want to hear some more recent history?
Well, let's. Yeah, we can go over some new recent history. So, pick up wherever you're going to pick up, because I
Okay.
want to get into the weeds with was the announcement of Trump declaring war on Iran justified ultimately?
Absolutely.
It, okay.
Shit.
I know that's your take.
Calm down,
Um,
Shannon. Calm down.
so continue on. I'm presuming this is the recent history you speak of. So go
Yeah.
on.
Well, yeah. All right. Back in 2000, oh shit, just after the pandemic hit. Um,
Of course.
uh,
Yes, of
um,
course.
I could say something else about that, but I don't want to get your channel nuked. So after that, um, the a whole bunch of Iranian insiders started borrowing money from one particular bank, Adana, Adana, something like that. Anyway,
Hmm.
they borrowed something like the equivalent of 5 billion US dollars. You know how much of it they've repaid?
Oh, zero.
Less than. Not only have they borrowed the money, but the money absconded with the money, but they absconded to UAE, Dubai, a couple of the European countries, basically anywhere to get it out of Iran, where it can't be touched. Some of that money is here in the U.S. You don't think we deported the daughter of the granddaughter of Khomeini just because she happens to be Khomeini, do you? No, we deported her because the little bitch took some of that money. Now we're trying to separate her from her money. I don't know if we're going to be able to freeze it, seize it, return it to
Okay.
Iran, something else. I don't know.
We're talking about a bank.
Hmm.
Who backs the bank?
Um, the Iranians who had invested in the bank, um, lost
Okay,
everything.
so we are talking about uh, a native pool of wealth and resources.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they lost everything. Okay, so this is a very very bad situation. Does this remind you of some other historic event that happened in the U.S. maybe?
It sounds like nearly every Wall Street bailout.
I was thinking of much more specific event. Black Black Friday, the day that the stock market collapsed in 1921,
No, the Great Depression.
the Great Depression. Um,
Okay.
one of the knock-on effects of that was we had lent Germany a shit ton of money to help them recover from World War One, and all of a sudden we needed that money back. So we called those notes. Um, Germany
Oh,
went into free fall. Now I know you
oh,
know what happened next, but I'm gonna give you a clue. Confetti. Okay, we got some dead air, so
okay.
I can see the
Yeah,
squirrels working, but
confetti.
um,
Confetti does not tell me nothing. I don't speak in code.
Germany started printing money faster than they could spend it. What happens when you have a
Okay.
large supply of a thing?
I I understand how inflation works.
Yeah, yeah. It actually, at one point, is a bailout. We bought something like 10 billion German marks for about 100 million US dollars, or something like that. And it was used as confetti at the Oscar Awards. I'm not even joking. That's a historic fact. We used German marks as confetti at the Oscars. Um, and it
That's
just
beyond fucked. I mean, the, Germany was done dirty. Like that. That's
yes,
my take on that.
absolutely.
There's no other interpretation.
I, I, I don't know of I don't know of anybody who says differently.
All
Not
right.
even
So hang on. I
before.
have, because I'm an ignoramus,
Okay.
and I think I know the answer to this question. What precipitated what forces precipitated the Great Depression that caused us to need to recall those bonds?
The stock market crashed amidst stock speculation, at least one major stock scam. That's literally the Ponzi scheme. Uh,
Mhm.
Charles Ponzi? No, no, no. He was Italian. Um, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Ponzi. Um,
Hmm.
and a couple of other related issues. That's the reason why today, if the stock market does get out of control, like one day oil prices just go absolutely ape shit, they will shut down the stock exchange, send everybody home for the day. And all of those purchases, all those trades can be uh, uh, voided out by the stock exchange's sole discretion. This, hey, you didn't buy 1 million gallons of oil. You didn't sell 1 million gallons of oil. It's called force majeure, by the way. Um, and the corporations have insurance against exactly this scenario. Um, but
But
also,
not shareholders of Enron.
but not Enron. Um,
No,
let's
no,
talk
I
about
said the shareholders of Enron. I was very specific.
yeah. I'd love to talk about Enron someday, but that's going to have to be a whole subject unto itself. That would be a whole week of me screaming at the top of my lungs to itself. Moving on. Um, so yeah, Charles Ponzi, wild uh, uh, stock manipulation really is part of it. Um, just
Okay,
crashed the market.
so Iran has basically, or the elites of Iran have basically precipitated a Great Depression in their country.
Oh yeah, they created it.
Yeah. So so this is going on in Iran at the time. Now, what year is it in the timeline?
Uh, I want to say it's 2019 when the bank collapsed.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sorry, I don't have my notes. And um,
All right.
I whoa, hold up, make sure I still got you. Make sure I'm still here.
No,
Um,
I was waiting for you.
uh, 2019, I think is the year that uh that shit hit the fan. And
Okay.
if somebody, I can't see the chat, I got it full screen, folks, but if somebody in the chat can correct me, I would appreciate it. Um, so anyway, yeah, they what they did was they raided the national treasury. Uh, the elites, the Iranian elites, raided the national treasury, and to try to
Okay.
cover it up, the government started printing money faster than they could spend it. Hyperinflation.
Fun.
Um, in the mid, yeah, yeah. In the midst of all this is Woman Life Freedom, which was the response to the Masha um, Aditi, yeah, Masha Aditi murder. Um,
Hmm.
which, by the way, remember this word. Basij shot her, not IRGC. Um, then well, back in December, the economic the bill came in. All right. So let's imagine for a moment that you're an electronics store owner, right? And you pay
Okay.
$15. You pay $15 for a piece of inventory, right? You put it on your shelf and you mark it for $16. That's what you're expecting to sell it for, right? But that hyperinflation has turned that $16 into about $8, except it's not even that bad. It's more like 16 cents. It is only really worth 16 cents now. What's that do to your business?
It implodes it.
It absolutely destroys your business. Back in December,
Yes, it does.
around the 25th, 26th, something like that, uh, shop owners in Tehran in particular began to protest economic conditions by refusing to open their stores. They refused to turn the lock on the door.
Okay.
Um, the regime was not fucking happy about that at all because remember, I said electronics. I'm also talking grocers and butchers, bakers, um, uh, toy, toy stores, right? Shirts,
Okay.
anything, right? They were all refusing because they couldn't. They were out of business. They were literally inflationed out of existence. Um, and this part seems to have really exploded over about the last 6 months of 2025. Now, unfortunately, I didn't track those events closely enough. I'm not entirely sure, but that appears to be when this problem went from bad to oh fuck. Um,
Okay. I'm going to interject. Just I understand how the regime is being awful to its people. Um,
yeah.
the question I want to know is, so we have the elites of Iran gutting it out, leaving with their wealth, living abroad, even in the United States,
Mhm.
um, and then being shitty to their people, just just on the surface level. At what point does that necessarily becomes the problem of America? Like, where is the threat level?
Hold on to that thought for a second. Um,
Okay.
because actually we just hit that threat. Those protests, um, rather than step back and say, you know what, the regime, step back and say, you know what, we did kind of fuck up. Maybe we should be rethinking everything. Maybe we should talk to these people. Instead, they sent Basij in to start killing everybody. All right.
Okay.
Um, this is this isn't even the problem. Um, this
Hmm.
is just the way to get that door open because the massacres were happening. I know there's people that say, "Oh no, they didn't." Yeah, well, yes, they did. Even if it's not the 40,000 that I do believe, even if it's the 3,000 that the Iranian regime itself confirmed. All right,
Okay.
that that's still ridiculous. Um,
I okay. I don't disagree. Can we fast forward to the part where it becomes an American threat?
um, well, basically, we did to Iran what they did to us in Iraq. We found a little thing that we could open the door with. Last year's, or was it 20? Yeah, it was last year's um, nuke strikes. when we took out the four-door plant or facility. Even at the time,
Okay.
Iran was swearing up one side and down the other. You didn't really destroy the facility, and I have to be honest. I think they might have been telling the truth there. We gave them so much warning about what we were going to do that even if we did absolutely collapse every last inch of those tunnels, they still got the material out. They had what 3 weeks of warning. Um, and
Okay.
that was the key to unlock the door. Is hey Iran, we're going to talk about this nuke deal that you signed with Barack, folks. I don't give a good god flying fucking damn what any of you believe or want to believe. Iran had a nuke. They tested it in 2009. They caused a what was it, 4.5 plus on the Richter scale earthquake in a region that does not have any fault lines. That's how we knew that they had tested a nuke. Um, this was 2009 ish. That they tested, and it was an underground nuke. And there's three things that happen when you test a nuke underground. There's an earthquake, which is very significant. There's
Hmm.
hydrogen escaping, and then there's one other gas that happens to be heavier than air, but escapes faster than the hydrogen because the hydrogen dissipates into the cracks in the ground. So it actually takes it longer to escape. Um, that's how we knew that yes, Iran had tested a nuke underground. Now we know, yes, they have nukes. Barack did not take Iran pallets of cash. That's not how banks work in the modern world. All right. Yes, there may have been pallets of actual cash, right? But those pallets were just to hide what was inside that stack of cash, which was the specifications for nuclear bombs. I believe this
Really?
I believe this wholeheartedly because it does not make sense to load up a big pallet or two, and the specifications on how to build a nuclear bomb can be as small as two of this guy. It's
Okay.
all with a external hard drive. An external hard drive about the size of my head would be more than enough to have all of the information you needed, um, including how to build the
Okay.
equipment, how to build the bomb, how to refine the material, everything. You could start from scratch. And the idea that Iran is too stupid to do today when calculators are more, a calculator is more powerful than all of the computers on Earth were in the 1940s. That's just insulting. I'm insulted. I'm offended. Um,
You're insulted on behalf of the Iranian regime.
on behalf of the Iranian regime, I'm insulted. I also kind of feel like my intelligence is a little insulted, but theirs is much more so. Um, yeah, believe it or not, Matt, I really do respect the Iranian regime. All right. I don't think they're retarded. I don't think they're uh what is it called? Psychotic? Yeah.
Hmm.
They're not psychotic. They see things that are really there. They hear things that are really there. They don't see and hear things that aren't there. All right. And they are
Hmm.
intelligent.
That is something that I have noticed when dealing with the the overall BRICS membership, that coalition of nations. They are far more Machiavellian, pragmatic, and non-ideological. they're not going to make shit up. They're not going to react based on beliefs or principle. They do things very methodically. They don't do anything simply because um, it's imagined. They do things for intelligent, pragmatic reasons. Uh, Unlike the West for the last, I don't know, 60 years.
Right.
So,
Kind of fair.
so let's
Yeah.
really tighten this up. You firmly believe,
Hmm.
and I'm just paraphrasing here, that in those pallets of cash, that they were just window dressing for state secrets and a nuclear armament, and that the Iran regime is legitimately an international threat with nuclear capability. Is this? I'm asking you this question. I forgive me the need for asking. How dangerous would a nuclear Iran be?
Well, okay. Imagine a suicide bomber with a nuke.
Okay, let me push back on that a little bit.
Okay.
How is that any better or worse than the alleged Samson option?
I'm sorry, the alleged Samson option.
Yeah, the Israeli protocol that if Israel becomes targeted by a nuclear weapon or is threatened with destruction, they launch nuclear strikes to one, destroy themselves, and B, destroy everyone else. That's the Samson option.
I have never heard this one before.
You're you're
Um,
telling me you believe that Iran was receiving state secrets in the palace of Cat,
but
but you haven't heard.
I hadn't heard
You've
this one.
never heard of the Samson option.
I'm gonna have to dig
You,
into this. And by the way, folks,
you
I can't say he's wrong. Um,
okay? Okay, I'm just the Samson option is not a secret.
it has never come up
This
to me.
is
I I am embarrassed. You're right. I should be. Um,
okay. You know what? Take 2 minutes, open up a Google tag, and put in Samson option and see what you find. No, take 2 minutes.
uh, okay. Well, let's see if I come back, folks, because I'm on my phone.
Okay, all right. Just
So
open
far,
up
so
another
good.
tab or whatever. Just go ahead and Google the Samson option. I'm not doing this to be mean to
Yeah.
Mandatory. I genuinely like this guy, and he has valid points and concerns.
Samson,
Um,
forget it's military opponents. Last resort is fuss. It's doctrine of deterrence. Naming it. Um. Okay. I'm kind of getting some limited. Can you still see me?
you're because you're on your phone. What's going to
Hmm.
happen is you're going to freeze until you come
Okay.
back to the window that's using your camera.
Okay.
I can still see you, I can still hear you, but the camera's going to freeze until you come back to that particular tab. So don't worry about your camera.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm kind of caught up. Sort of. Okay. Give me a sec. Um. Well, I couldn't find anything that specifically said they will target themselves. Um.
Okay.
I can't tell. I can't tell any of you that he made that up. I can't even tell you that that's not true. Um, that's pretty extreme. If you've decided suicide is much better than surrender, well, okay. Um, that's pretty
Oh yeah, that's
wild.
that's actually. Hang on, I'm gonna do my own the Samson option. Why? Okay, there we go. Um,
Hmm.
I just pulled up the Wikipedia
I
on
posted
this,
what I found too.
so yeah, go ahead and shame me for looking for using Wikipedia. Um,
I'm sorry, I can't. I wish I could.
do ah. Although nuclear ambiguity, Israel refuses to confirm or deny has nuclear weapons or to describe how to use or to describe how it would use them. A policy of deliberate ambiguity, known as nuclear ambiguity or nuclear opacity, is their uh, modus operandi. Um,
Oh, excuse me. Wrong, wrong pipe. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, I tell you all the truth. Nobody believes Israel when they say they don't have nukes.
no one, absolutely no
Um,
one believes that.
how they how they tested them without
Okay,
getting caught is another question.
I I don't even think pro-Zionists believe Israel has no nukes.
Um,
Let's just put that out there. But no, the Samsung option is basically um if we can't have our toys, we're going to destroy everything else. It's
it's pretty extreme. Um,
yeah. So that's when I ask you how dangerous is a nuclear Iran, you tell me, well, suicide bomber with a nuke. I'm like, well,
um,
we already kind of have that
well,
out there in the world.
no, we don't. Slow down, slow down. Um, Iran would nuke Washington D.C. or or Tehran or fucking Moscow if they thought they could get away with it. Um, as opposed
Hold
to
up, hold up, hold on. You think Iran would nuke Moscow?
if they thought they could get away with it, hell yeah, Beijing too.
Okay,
Um, I want to go down another road here.
okay.
But I don't want to get your channel nuked. Um,
Speaking of nukes,
speaking of notes, it's related to what happened in 2020.
oh, we're not allowed to talk about. It's midterm season. How dare you?
No, because my my conspiracy theory is still getting me into trouble. I was informed today that one of my videos was removed. Which good thing I have backups, but for the things that I said. Um,
Okay.
I also had a video removed because my uh stomping grounds when I grew up, somebody came into somebody came into the uh, county board of supervisors chambers and was screaming about how COVID was fake and these restrictions are illegal and whatever the fuck that weirdo said. I met the guy. He's a weirdo. Um, and they
Doesn't
removed
mean he
it.
was wrong.
And they removed it because I was challenging elected officials' responses, and they're still removing it.
What?
They're still removed my heel light video.
You? The actual reason given by YouTube is what?
That no channel is allowed to challenge the decisions by elected officials on the pandemic. I might still have the original email. I'll try to dig it up and send it to you later. You can
That
screenshot. I
that
don't give a fuck.
is. Oh my god.
Hi, Apple.
Okay.
You fucking cunt.
I my 1776 spirit is raging at this point. Internally, I'm trying to keep it contained. That's that is some bullshit. That is some bullshit. I am. Send me that email. I want to see
If I
that email. That
if I can
that
find it, I will.
intrigues me. That
Um,
intrigues me.
give me a second. Oh, shift. Yeah. Um. So anyway, yeah. Um. You put the kind of mentality, that will strap a bomb to themselves and then give them a nuke. Whereas Israel doesn't have that kind of mentality. They'll shoot back. They will absolutely fucking shoot back. They will shoot back 3 times. Once for the bullet, once to kill you, and a third one just for spite. All right. Um, but they don't start the shit. Um, I mean, unless something prods them. Like Donnie's little admission, what was it, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Please do share.
You don't know? Oh, a reporter was
Not
asking
just for
him,
my sake.
oh, okay. A reporter was asking Donnie if Israel had forced the United States into this war with Iran, and he said, no, no. If anything, I forced them in, or we forced them into it.
Then he gets cucked by John Kerry, of all people, on public television.
Okay, well, uh, Donnie, Donald Trump, for those of you who might be lost, was claiming that we forced Iran into this conflict. So I don't know what else to tell you. Is that was his claim. Sorry about that noise in the background. Um. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, we according to Donnie, we forced them into this situation, and now here they are. Um. Where was I? Um. The mentality of Iran is they will kill you just because they can, versus Israel will shoot back, but they don't start the fights.
Okay.
Sorry, getting sick also made me obsessed with brushing my hair. I don't even know what the hell happened there.
I'm
Or
gonna
combing.
I have thoughts on that because I've never been someone who um over moralizes retaliation, preemptive or not. Um so that's basically the lay of the land with what has occurred between America and Iran,
Right.
generally speaking.
There's
Um
things that I've skipped over, but yeah, generally speaking.
okay. Um I'm gonna be okay. So, what is your opinion on not that war has been declared? What is your opinion on the execution of
Ooh,
that campaign?
you know, and you're gonna love this. A few months after he came back into office, Donnie's pushing this whole make a deal between Ukraine and Russia, and it's going nowhere. And he finally he loses his his temper, and he says they don't fucking know what they're doing. Now, I never
Yeah,
really found. I never found out if he meant Russia, Ukraine, both. I think he really meant both.
he's
Um,
talking about Zelensky, from what I understood.
and
Oh no, he was talking about the Biden administration.
oh wow.
He was talking about the
Um,
Biden administration handling the international affair of Ukraine.
um,
Um,
but they don't fucking know what they're doing. Well, Donnie, neither do you. All right. This this bombing campaign is, you know, what are we doing here? Um, we're bombing Tehran day and night to do what exactly? I mean, when do we actually start maybe moving on with the plan, the thing that we're supposed to be doing? You say you want this deal, you say you want the regime change, you say this, you say that. Fucking figure out what you need to do, right? And this is going to shock you a little bit. U.S. troops going into Iran to remove the regime is the worst possible scenario. Uh, the only scenario that actually can survive. Maybe we send in Rangers because U.S. Army Rangers specialize specifically in going behind enemy lines, forming resistance groups, training them and getting them ready, and then directing them at whoever it is that they're supposed to be destroying, right?
okay.
So yeah, send Rangers in, and then form the Iranian people into the army that removes the regime. And we're talking about 15 different armies, really, because I know there's like 27, I think, provinces, but there's really about 15 zones that need to be dealt with. Um, remove the leaders at the provincial level, at the national level, select new local, probably provincial leaders from the people, and just make it basically 21 separate states for about a
You
year
know
until we
what?
can pull things back together.
I'm gonna support your point on underestimating Iran as.
Okay, folks, give them about a minute because something happened. Also, give me a minute because I'm going to see if it was me.
Sorry about that.
Okay,
I clicked a button. I don't know how I clicked. I don't know why I clicked it. I clicked a button.
don't
Um,
push buttons.
back. No, no, no more clicking button. I remove hand from mouse. No more touchy. Um, so, but back to underestimating Iran as a political actor. The fucking stones it took for us to, after killing their leader, to just be like, we have another one. Fucking, fucking brilliant. I that is, you have to admire that tenacity. You you,
Um,
you have to, because the bluff is do it again.
well,
Yeah,
they kind of got ahead of us there a little bit. Remember what we were just saying about respect them? Um,
yeah. No, we really thought that if we took out the head honcho, that the snake would go with it, and didn't happen.
not
It
exactly.
didn't
No.
fucking happen. And
Um,
you have to admire that. You have to admire for the fact that as an American, I have to acknowledge, okay, I underestimated these people. I've made a tactical error
not
in.
really. I'm sorry. I got to stop you there, bud. First of all, we have the same thing. It's what is it? A succession of governance or something like that. Um, and second, there's some real question about who's running the country. Um, Yeah, I know Majiba is still alive, but they got him the fuck out of Iran and into Moscow that night while they're still performing CPR intermittently on the plane because they knew we couldn't strike him in Russia. All right, if we kill him in Russia, even though he's a legitimate military target in Iran, we're declaring war with Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to go there? I,
No,
I
we
do,
won't.
but
Well, I know you do, but no
yeah,
one else does.
and
No one else does.
not too many. It's a pretty
Okay.
short
You
list.
and okay. You and John Bolton.
Oh,
I think a war with Russia, a declared war on Russia would make John Bolton come.
okay, let me rethink this. When you find yourself on the same side as John Bolton,
Tell me I'm wrong.
well, God, I hope you are, because being on the same side as John Bolton,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah, do I want to be there?
It-
Um,
that's what I said. I
but
don't want to be on the same side as John Bolton. Fuck me. That was
on
the
the other
entire point of the video.
on the other
Because I,
hand,
I looked this.
go ahead.
Go on.
On the other
Well, no,
hand,
the entire point of my video was I can understand how we could justify this war. I can understand looking at the effect that the Iranian regime has had on the world, has had on Christianity, has had on the influence of the West in the Middle East and in Africa. I can understand the tactical advantage of saying this needs to go. I can understand that.
hmm,
What I cannot accept as an American is half measures.
oh, yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're,
Exactly.
we're
Like
not even doing half anymore.
I, I, I mean, taking out the head guy was a
Not good
good
enough.
idea. It didn't work though.
Well, then it's not good enough, is it?
No, no, it's not. But and the whole pissing contest over the Strait of
Oh,
Rem-
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's like we don't know what it takes to clear out a cave system. And I mean, you brought up using chemicals and whatnot. And my
Yes, it
answer was
did.
very simple. You could just it's called a siege. But you need to put troops on the ground for that nonsense.
Uh,
You have somebody.
or napalm or something. Phosgene. I'm all for phosgene. Fuck it. I'm done. Break out the phosgene and start pumping it into the caves. Um, I, I might not
But
always
we'll have
be
to call the
the
Germans.
most. Um, were they phosgene or they? Yeah, okay, they were phosgene. You're right.
That was it was another chemical, but we're not to talk about that.
It
Um.
doesn't get that far forward into history. I was focusing on mustard gas.
Oh, there was a far funnier joke in there, and you missed it.
I saw it, tried to avoid it, but it came.
Nope, nope. That's not how this works on this channel. You know this.
I'm not fond of Prussian blue. Okay,
It's better than Soylent Green.
okay, folks, he's right. Or it's about the same, more to the point. Um. So anyway, yeah. To end this war, first of all, stop fucking around with the Strait of Hormuz. Just bomb everything in that region that even looks vaguely like um, a weapon system. And more to the point, we wouldn't even be here now fucking around with the Strait of Hormuz if we would just fucking finish the job, and we could have done that a month ago. All right. Uh,
Okay, so you don't want boots on the ground.
um,
What would be your
Not really.
strategy?
My strategy would be
Well,
uh Rangers, first of all, Army Rangers. Um, send them in
okay,
to organize the Iranian people into militias that take out the regime, and then give them as much air support as they ask for. If they ask for a B-52 strike, they get a B-52 strike. If they ask for A-10s over, just
okay,
buzzing over downtown Tehran, just to say we're here, fuck you. A-10s buzz over downtown Tehran, and do that nap of the earth thing that they do so well that scares everybody, myself included. Um, as much logistical support. If they say they need 100,000 uh, 2.5 ton trucks to ship shit, 2.5 thousand 2.5 ton trucks suddenly appear right there on the beach. I don't give a shit. I really don't fucking care. Um, as much logistical support as they need or they want, as much air support as they want, as much training as we can beat into their heads, and let them uh, kill or capture the regime. And the ones that survive, they all get hung from lampposts or burned alive. I'm sorry, they can be burned alive too.
not a tear will be shed from my side.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but that was my issue. Is I'm not saying Iran doesn't deserve what's coming to him. I cannot condone how it's being done. Like this is forever war shit. I didn't vote for forever war shit.
I'm
I
not happy
voted
about this
against
either.
forever war shit. Huh?
No, I'm not happy about this either. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
It's like both sides are using Hormuz as some way of not dealing with the real thing. Oh, hey, we're going to start attacking ships in Hormuz. That'll distract the Americans. Okay, we'll start letting them attack ships in Hormuz, and we'll start attacking them in Hormuz, so we don't have to deal with the real issue, which is whether or
Okay.
not the
Okay.
regime is
Hang
going to
on.
live to see next year.
So I think that the Strait of Hormuz is a much closer and scarier version of what they were doing in Iraq.
I'm sorry.
I said the Strait of Hormuz
Mm-hmm.
is a much closer and much scarier version of what they did with Iraq. Every time they fuck around with that strait, every time they mess around with that nonsense, every time Donald Trump comes out Monday morning and says, we got a deal, whatever the bullshit is, um, we get fluctuations in that stock market. We get a fluctuation in gas prices. We get civil unrest and uncertainty. So we're not able to move past it. There's too much drama on the civilian front for us to justify moving forward militarily. They're doing a political version of Iraq with their own strait. It's a dangerous game because all it takes is Trump saying, I'm not. If Trump gave less of a fuck about gas prices for a week,
This will be
we could
over.
have this shit solved in 2.
Oh yeah. Um, we can have this. Yeah, in 2 days. I'm not even talking about nukes because, right? I don't know who your followers are these days. Um, I think Matt knows this,
Neither
but
do I.
well, I think Matt knows this, but I actually have a meme out there that says "World Peace" at the top, and where Iran is now is blue, and it says The Sea of Iran, and I'm not even joking. All right, people think I'm joking. No, all right, it would take every single nuke on Earth, and the most we would get is about 20-foot depth. All right, but we could totally remove that country from the face of the Earth, and it would be the irradiated Sea of Iran, which the word irradiated is actually in there, but it's so small you can't really read it. Um, and fuck
Okay.
it. I'm okay with that plan too. Um, Now I could say a whole lot more about how we got to that point, but I'm not going to right now. Um, to end this war, send those Rangers in, start getting those people organized to remove the regime themselves, and then the people of Iran can try Motabji um, in absentia, and that means he will never, ever leave Russia because if he does, he doesn't have any protection. That's the only
Okay.
thing that's stopping him from being hung too. And fuck him.
All
I
right.
don't give a shit. I don't.
All right. I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when I come back, we're going to talk about
Yeah.
segue this into Ukraine. All
Okay.
right. Give me a couple minutes, folks. I'll be right back.
Okay, folks. So I'm here all by myself. Um, I don't have the chat open. I don't know what's going on there. I'm Mandatory Carey. I believe that had the founders foreseen the future, they would have written a very different Second Amendment. A well protected state being necessary to the security of well protected people being necessary to the security of a free state, the duty of the people to keep and bear arms shall be enforced. For those of you that say, "Oh no, they wrote it perfect," well, okay. How's that whole "shall not be infringed" shit working out for you? Hmm? Oh, um, I have a, I have had on my computer since 2017 a amicus for the Supreme Court to explain to them what the difference between an assault weapon and literally everything else on Earth, including machine guns, is. And it is a two-part pass-fail test. You pass both parts, or it's not an assault anything. It's just semi-auto, automatic. It might be a lot of other things, but it's not an assault anything. Um, let's see. I'm still trying to stall a little bit here. Um, oh, I am also pod home. Most people don't realize this, but I sincerely believe in advocating for the homeless. Pod home is an idea I had to use Japanese pod hotel style homeless shelters. And it's not good for everybody. It's not perfect for everybody. In fact, it's not perfect for, oh, here we are. It's not perfect for anybody, but it's a reasonably good idea for single adults. And take it away, Matt.
Now,
Oh,
I,
there
I,
you go.
I I heard about your tism on the Second Amendment front, and in spirit, we all want something more efficient than what we currently got. But when you tell
We're
the
going to do
government
it.
to enforce something,
Yeah,
it's
I,
always
I'm
to the
aware.
interpretation of said government in power, and that's the one fly in that fucking ointment, isn't it? Um, but on to
Yeah.
Ukraine,
Yeah. Okay. Move on. I'm going to say something here you probably ain't going to like.
probably, but go on.
If we had stood up to Russia in February 2022, we would not be here now with Iran. Um, Joe Biden.
Okay.
Joe Biden showed the world that the U.S. is weak. We're divided. We can't get our shit together. Um, and Russia tested that in Ukraine, and they found that yeah, actually, we can get away with a lot. Um, uh, Iran saw that and said, "Hey, we can get away with it too." So then Hamas decided, I believe they were ordered by Tehran to strike Israel. That would be October 2023, um, which I'll come back to that in a minute, but hold that number in mind. Um, that when they found that the response was basically nothing, right?
Mhm.
I mean, Israel attacked Hamas. So what? They're mercenaries. They're literally they're literally expendable. All right. Yeah, I don't know if you know this. I didn't know it until earlier this year. Um, there's something called pay for slay. Or no, yeah, pay for slay program. The Palestinian government will pay families for their children who die fighting Israel. Fighting Israel. They get about $50 if their kid blows himself up. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised. I,
It's-
I mean, it,
I have to admit I wasn't when I discovered it either.
I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I'm not even angry about it anymore. Um,
I am. If $50, that's it. You can't even you can't even offer them 100 triple digits. Come on, guys.
yeah.
Um,
Um, you want me to be upset that Hamas wants to save a buck? $50? Like, the fuck? We're
I'm just
talking
saying,
about
don't be fucking
Hamas.
cheap. Don't be cheap.
Talking about Hamas. If they could pay him a penny, they would.
I know that's the sad part. You're right.
I
Um,
know. But
um. So anyway, yeah, in Iran's, the Gazans are completely expendable. There's been no
yeah.
backlash on Iran directly, and that's the thing. Oh, we're getting away with this, and we're getting away with that. We're getting away with something else. We're getting away with sending shahads to Russia. We're getting away with harassing people in the Persian Gulf. We're getting
Whoa,
away
whoa,
with
hang on,
this.
hang on. What are shahads?
That's the suicide drone. It's called a fucking cruise missile, people. Um, that Iran was shipping to Russia for Ukraine.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, I swear to God, you made it sound like they were flying these things against Russia, which
Oh,
had me a little
excuse me.
confused. You had me a little
Um,
confused. Just
no,
just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a
they
little bit. I was
they may be flying to Russia, but they're not um, mission oriented. They're just transit oriented at that point.
okay.
Um,
Thank you for clarifying.
um, and what they're seeing is they can get. And China, by the way, is fucking around in South China Sea with mostly the Philippines. Sometimes they get a little froggy and think they're going to take on Japan. Um,
Oh,
but
that's not a good idea.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a great plan, but then again,
You know what, China? Please fuck with Japan. Please find out that lesson.
you know, one of the rules of for radicals, I think it's number 9, is the fear of the thing is always worse than the thing itself. Once you've been through it, it's not that bad. Japan has been nuked twice.
Yeah, but
I'm
that
just saying.
particular message does not work in China's case. If the Chinese were to attack Japan, the experience will be worse than the fear thereof.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should clarify. Japan has been nuked twice. They're not afraid of nukes. All right. And they don't have nukes, just like Israel doesn't have nukes. And you
Oh,
know what? Even if they really don't, we do. Fuck you.
for those of you who are not in the know, the camaraderie and the friendly relations and the warrior respect between the Japanese Defense Force and the United States Marine Corps. I don't think I don't think there's a closer relationship in our internationally than that one.
um,
I'm just
it's not a long list.
no, no. It's,
Um, yeah.
if China wanted to mess with Japan,
Don't go to Okinawa.
it would be funny.
It would not last very long either. I mean, well, I mean, shit. Yeah, sure, go to Okinawa because at that point it won't matter anyways. Um, yeah, and for those of you that don't that don't know the history, I have a friend called Fix Bayonets who was a Marine, and the night I met her, um, she was testing to see whether I was worth sleeping with by flipping me around like a rag doll. I'm not even fucking kidding. She did this bam bam thing with me. You know,
He turned you into a Peleg
uh,
or a
no,
Puleg.
no. I turned into Bam Bam's club. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I got laid that night. Um, and she didn't even hurt me, which is the amazing part. Well, I mean, yeah, the last time I landed, I kind of landed hard, but um, not hard enough
And
to be
please tell
injured.
me this ties back into Japan somehow.
Yes, it ties back into Japan because those Marines are just going to fucking tear everything apart. Um, the Chinese Navy.
You are confused, sir. I'm not talking about the Marines in Okinawa. I'm talking about the Japanese soldiers in
Oh, well,
Okinawa.
okay. First of all, the Chinese Navy is going to get halfway out of port before they all start sinking because things will start blowing up everywhere. Um, and this is before the Chinese actually make landfall. The Japanese army is, there's a reason why we don't fuck around with the Japanese military, right? Um,
We built it. Of
well,
course, we're not fucking around with it.
they used our hardware and training techniques with their own mentality. Bonsai, motherfucker. Bonsai. That's where it's going to be. Um, although I don't think they'll have any suicide bombers at that point because it's not very first of all not very efficient, and second of all it's not very civilized, right? Um, and they trained with U.S. equipment and standards. Um, the Chinese military trained with parades. I'm saying it. They trained with parades. That's it. Um, at least they're better than the Korean army, the North Korean army.
That's another discussion.
Yeah,
So
some other time.
going back to you made the claim that if we'd been stronger against Russia in
Yeah.
2022,
Yeah.
we would not have this Iran problem. I have to push back on that. Not that you're wrong per se, but what I'm gonna say is we're not dealing with people who live on the level that the West does. And
Mhm.
all of the steps that led Putin to justify invading Ukraine
Oh,
um, were preventable. They were preventable. I'm
okay.
sorry, and it's you can say, yeah, we could have stood up to him in 2022. My account of that is we could have not offered the Ukraine NATO membership for what, the last 5 years?
Slow down. NATO, Ukraine was never going to get into NATO. That was a thing that was going to unhappen. They were maybe, possibly going to get into EU. And even that was just really hot, like, because that has a lot to do with Brexit. Britain was pissed about, amongst other things, certain countries being in the EU, uh, and Ukraine being invited in was one of the ones that was actually mentioned. Um, that's why that all of a sudden they're like, nope, we're out. Bye. Um, and, into NATO?
Okay.
No, no, it ain't gonna
Here's what
happen.
you're not considering.
Mhm.
Brexit was never supposed to happen.
But here
Brexit
we
was
are.
never supposed Brexit was never supposed to be a successful movement. The people and we saw this after Brexit happened. After Brexit happened, the elites in Britain just steamrolled them on
Panic.
virtually every point. So I don't believe you. I don't believe the idea that Ukraine membership would have never happened because the Britons were not supposed to leave. They were, and even when they voted to leave, they just didn't for an extended period of time. So I am not convinced, especially with all of the color revolutions we saw in Ukraine.
Ah,
Yes,
you really want to go there?
no one wants to go there.
Okay.
Who wants to go? Who gives a shit?
Oh. Um,
And then that's another part of my point is you're telling me if we stood up to Russia then if if Mexico decided I want Texas
it's
and
going
we
to be a
said
war.
fuck you, not only are you not getting Texas, we're taking Baja.
We're taking Baja.
TJ is now mine. The
That'd
fuck is
make a lot
Mexico
of our
gonna
lives much easier. Moving on.
do? And so my point is geopolitically, like it was just a losing proposition. Why get their neighbors?
Yeah.
If Ukraine acts against Russia's best interest, it's not in the best interest of Ukraine.
Well, okay.
We're not dealing. We're not dealing with Western ideals. We're not dealing with principles or any of that. We're dealing with BRICS. We're dealing with Russia. We're dealing with Iran. We're dealing with pragmatic, Machiavellian cutthroats.
Okay.
If they can get away with it, they are. You can't be mad at the scorpion. You know what it is.
Okay. All right. I'm confused here. Why does Russia invade Ukraine?
The
From where you're sitting.
the justification for Russia invading Ukraine were several. One, it was the offer of NATO membership to Ukraine, which Zelensky was installed on. There was also, and this is not controversial. The continued aggressions of Eastern Ukrainians, essentially having a civil war that the West didn't hear about until Russia invaded. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't hear about it because it didn't exist. We just weren't allowed to hear about it. The people in eastern Ukraine had been at war with Zelensky's regime for at least 4 years prior.
Were they though? Keep going.
Yeah, I'm 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 rather certain of it. The timeline doesn't lie.
Keep going. Okay.
And again, besides,
What's the next reason?
no, those were the two primary
Okay.
reasons.
All right. I want to blow up one of your beliefs. It is far from
Mhm.
non-controversial. Um, the Ukrainian Civil War was Wagner Group invading Ukraine. Now I know
Okay,
it's more complicated than
okay.
that, but
I understand that Wagner was in Ukraine. Calling them
yeah,
an invader is a bit of a stretch.
not really.
They okay.
They
I'm
were
not saying
ICC.
that they were invited by Ukraine. I'm not saying they were there uh legitimately, but I'm not going to go off the presumption that Wagner Group was in there openly causing disruptions with Eastern Ukrainians.
Well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree here, bud.
And that begs the question as to how Wagner Group were able to operate in Eastern Ukraine without the blessing of the natives.
Um, because about half of them were Russian, and they wanted to go back to Russia. They wanted to make Ukraine Russian again. And you're talking mostly about Donbass, specifically.
Mhm.
I know there Donbass and two other big ones, Kharkiv and one down in the south. I can't remember the name. Um, are the big target areas, but yeah, it was just Donbass. Half of the roughly half of the residents of Donbass specifically, not the province, just the city, uh, are Russians, and they wanted to be part of Russia again. And well, no, these borders were set in 1992 by Russia. Uh, these were the lines that Russia drew on a piece of paper in Moscow or Kiev or wherever the hell they drew it, and said, "Okay, everything east of here is ours. Everything west of here is yours." Um, and by the way, part of that line included Crimea. I'm just saying. Um, and then Putin comes to power. But most people don't realize Vladimir Putin did not draw that map. Um,
No, no, I
um,
didn't.
God damn it, Boris Yeltsin did. Um,
Mhm.
and if I recall correctly, it follows a river all the way down into the Black Sea.
The Black
Um,
Sea is. And I believe it's at the Black Sea, which I believe is connected. Is that Crimea, where the Black Sea, where the river empties into the Black Sea, where they have that base? That's a major naval pinch point. Am I
uh,
thinking of the correct place?
I know there are major Russian naval bases in the region. Yes,
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
like five
And
of
they
them.
eventually took that back by
Um,
referendum, if I recall.
no, they invaded. flat out. Because I remember I wake up one morning hearing Russia has invaded Crimea. What do you mean Russia has invaded Crimea? Crimea is part of Russia. What are they? What they invaded themselves? Oh, oh, oh! I didn't know that. I lived through it, but somehow I didn't know it. Um, so yeah, Russia drew the line that says Crimea is part of Ukraine now, and everything west of this river is part of Ukraine now. And the simple fact of the matter is that the Ukrainians didn't want to be part of Russia in any way, shape, or form. The EU thing, they wanted the EU very, very much.
You know what? You can make that case for Western Ukraine. I'm not going to argue that point for Western Ukraine,
Okay.
but I'm pretty certain that it was after certain elections in Ukraine that both Crimea and Donbass said, "No, no, wait a minute. This is not the direction we want to go."
There was no election in Crimea. That's a thing that did not happen. The
Are you
the Don
certain?
I am certain. Um
Hang on.
the Donbass thing, I'm a little sketchier on that.
Referendum in Crimea. All right. Crimea referendum
Check.
2014.
Keep a close eye on the dates and days or months and days.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hang on. Let me kind of brush up on this nonsense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Doo-doo-doo.
Okay.
Okay. And doo-doo-doo. Okay. Crimea became part of independent Ukraine after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Shortly after, Crimea had regained its autonomy following a 1991 referendum. The Ukrainian parliament abolished the Crimean constitution, and in 1998, Crimea gained a new constitution, which granted it less autonomy to the Ukrainian parliament. And then we have May 2013, and the 53% wanted autonomy in Ukraine as of today, and 12% were for Crimean Tatar autonomy within Ukraine. That's by the International Republican Institute. Advancing Democracy Worldwide.
I've never heard of
Interesting.
them. And yeah,
It's okay.
you're probably
When
right
when
about
when
that.
you see advancing democracy, that is a George Soros uh, shell company or NGO.
Well, okay, yeah, it might be fundamentally evil, corrupt, and uh, dishonest, which is, you know, I'd rather deal with an honest, corrupt man than a dishonest. Um, but
Ooh,
anyway, um,
I
the
don't
numbers
disagree,
are
but you are
fitting.
not
We're
going to like
kind of
my
on the
take
fitting.
on
What?
that.
What?
I agree. I agree with that sentiment, but you are not going to like my take on that at all.
What?
Um, okay.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh no.
the question I'm looking at here is The invasion versus the vote.
Hmm. Okay. Can I give you the answer to the test you're trying to take?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. There was a couple referendums for Crimea to separate from Ukraine, and
Hmm.
that didn't happen. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that didn't happen. But the referendum for Crimea to join Russia happens just a couple months after Russia invaded Crimea. Um, in the midst of this, by the way, that invasion, there were certain Ukrainian military officers who may have helped to facilitate the invasion, sending people home when they shouldn't have been sent home, that sort of thing. I'm talking
Interesting.
about treason. I'm saying they committed treason for money or ideology or whatever. I don't care.
Hmm.
I don't know. Oof. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple minutes.
Oh, hang on.
Uh,
Post-referendum polls from the U.S. government.
yeah. Um, Listen, my meds are working. I need
Ah,
I need a couple minutes.
all
Oh,
right, take care.
yeah.
Mute yourself, sir. All right. Let me pull this up for all of us to read together, if I may. Oh, goodness gracious. I swear I'm a professional. Do- All right. Okay, so the results of a survey by the U.S. government Broadcasting Board of Governors Agency conducted a poll afterward in 2014 showed that 83% of Crimeans felt the results of the March referendum likely reflected the views of most people there, whereas the views are only shared by 30% of the rest of Ukraine. Okay. Um, that is interesting. How is it that the Russian results are somehow more trustworthy than the George Soros ones? I'm just asking questions. Um, that's really my only contention is I don't it just it seems very awkward to me that we would how do I put this? I will wait for mandatory carry to get back. I don't know what he means when he says his medication's working. That's interesting. Anyways, so again, um, stop cream. So yeah, Carrie and I have always disagreed on this one. Um, I'm actually I'm very much far more sympathetic because here's my thing. I find it odd. I find it odd that we in the West accept the dynamic that um, in every other layer of society, especially when it comes to government and not government, when it comes to like the free market, when it comes to companies, when it comes to religious organizations. Power is something that most other people are afraid of because it means accountability. But in politics, there's this. separation of expectation because your ideals should somehow mean more than your results. Um, I don't see that dynamic playing out as as stringently in Russia. I don't think that in Russian politics there is a separation between your expected results and your ideals. If your ideals don't bring better results, you are held accountable for them politically and socially. Whereas in the West, we don't hold our elites accountable for anything. Um, eh, so I think I'm far more sympathetic to the Russian paradigm than I am to the Western one.
Whew, okay, I'm sorry about that. I heard part of that. Um, there's a lot about this history. You're not being told the truth. Um, we start in '91. Russia breaks up. They send Ukraine off to be by themselves, right?
Hmm.
The and you know what? From the Russian side of this situation, the deal is you're going to be a buffer state. You're not going to join the EU. You're going to trade with us. Blah blah blah. Uh,
Yeah.
and a couple of years later, Ukraine agrees to give up their nukes in exchange for promises of peace. Uh, well, let's just move on. Times changed. All right. 2014, the Ukrainian parliament votes to join the EU. Whether the EU is going to agree or not is another subject entirely, because to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't happened yet. Um, the uh, Ukrainian president vetoes the
Yeah.
and I mean, if the U.S. said we want to join BRICS and the U.S. president vetoed it, I, that's our law. Okay, great, fine. Well, the people disagreed. When I say that they were out in the streets rioting, I mean they were out in the streets rioting. They were building bonfires. They were fighting with cops. Uh, it was crazy. Give me a second. Um, all of a sudden, the Ukrainian president decides that maybe the country's a little too warm for him to stay. He doesn't like the climate anymore.
And he
Now,
goes to Russia.
what? Say again?
And he goes to Russia.
And
He
he
goes
went
to
to
Russia, right?
Russia.
Yeah.
Where do you go in a time of crisis? Do you go someplace safe or someplace dangerous?
Someplace safer.
You go someplace safe.
Yeah.
So that tells you who he thought was safe. Is he jumped on a
Yeah.
plane right to right to Moscow apparently. Um, that tells you whose pocket he was in. Um,
Not
the
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
really,
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Because the people, I don't believe it was as organic as you think it was. Because after, not even after, yeah, after he vetoed it,
mhm.
all those protests, all those bonfires and whatnot ended up being funded by NGOs and by American ops.
I keep hearing this, and I've never seen anything. Um,
John Kerry made an appearance. No, not John Kerry. John McCain.
uh, I've never seen this. I've heard about it. How much money does it take to set a pallet or stack of pallets on fire?
I'm sorry. Are we talking about?
You're saying the U.S. funded this. All right. How much money does it take
Yes.
to set a stack of pallets on fire? How much money did they really need?
I'm not saying they needed much.
They didn't need any. These were wild, really pissed off people.
Okay, so you know what also was wild?
Hmm,
Black Lives Matter protests. Were those legitimate?
no,
Were they from the people?
no. Well,
Okay.
some of them were
y-
legitimate
Okay.
people. Uh,
I will say that in the chaos there tend to be opportunists, but I'm not going to say that the major thrust of the actual movement was of the people. I can't say that because
um,
I live in a country where the same thing's been pulled. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've lived through it.
uh,
How can I presume that that political action was legitimate? I can't.
well, the evidence says that the people uh did actually want this, and they made their voices really loudly heard, loudly enough that even I heard it. I was like, um,
I'm sorry. The history and the surrep- the surreptitious grooming of Zelensky from an actor who plays a political revolutionary becoming a political revolutionary that hits a little too close. That's a little too close, my man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
you're not buying it at all?
No.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Whose pocket was Reagan in?
Whose pocket was who?
Ronald Reagan. I know that that was before you were born, so
It was.
I'm going to back
That
off a
doesn't
little
negate
bit.
that doesn't negate the legitimacy of the question. If I had to guess whose pocket Reagan was in, or who had Reagan in their pocket,
Spelling error there.
I don't know enough to say.
Well, this would be the first time somebody ever accused Ronald Reagan of having been in anybody's pocket except his own, which is generally accepted, or maybe Wall Street.
Wall Street. Okay.
Um,
Do you
um,
believe that Ronald Reagan was in Russia's
I
pocket?
believe he was in his own pocket. I think he was also
Oh, okay.
kind of in his own head. Um, I know there's things that happened, some meetings that occurred that led to bad decisions. Um, but yeah, I don't believe he was in anybody's pocket except his own, or maybe Nancy. Um, it, I mean, that's his wife. But anyway, um, um, and yet you just described Ronald Reagan's career. He was an actor. He played several politically charged roles.
Hang on. Zelensky was Zelensky a governor,
No,
or did
not
he
to the
go
best of my
straight
knowledge.
to president?
To the best of my knowledge, he went straight to president.
Okay. Ronald Reagan didn't.
Oh,
Ronald Reagan was first the governor of California.
no, stop. At first, he was the president of the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
I
We're
believe that.
talking about we're talking about someone who had some leadership acumen. And did Ronald Reagan ever play a president? He was a Western actor, was he not?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't really Google this at the moment. Um,
No, I'll Google it. I'm actually interested.
I don't recall him playing a president. Um, but he did play an anti-communist spy and a lesser politician with a monkey. He would make a joke about that many years later.
Okay, so I'm looking up the Ronald Reagan filmography,
Uh,
and Ronald Reagan did not portray a politician in a film during his own lifetime. That's another differentiation from Zelensky. See, what makes Zelensky weird is he it's like his acting career was literally just staging his own actual real setup. Like it's bizarre, and I cannot see enough correlation with Ronald Reagan. I just can't.
well, um, oh shit.
And
There's another
here's another knock. Sorry, go on.
there's another president I could name who has not exactly the same pattern, but when you get kind of step back and say, oh, from it, you see, oh, um, all of this was just part of his campaign to eventually become an elected official.
Trump.
Yeah, well, shit, fuck, god damn it, yeah. Um,
So there's three.
well, there's three.
Who's the other one?
Um,
Who's the other one?
no, that was the other one.
Oh, that's obvious, my dude.
Um, yeah, and the fact of the matter is, we're probably going to see at least one more Hollywood or equivalent to elected official pattern. Because I could say, oh, son of a bitch, he played the DA on Law and Order and the Admiral in Hunt for Red October.
Okay, I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
Um, we could say that because he did run for president at one point, 2016, I think it was. Um, but the fact of the matter is, he had been an elected official, went to Hollywood, and then ran for office again.
Okay,
Most people don't know that. He's the one that when Nixon was being impeached, asked the question, "Who knew what, and when did they know it?" And that's
mm,
when Nixon's career suddenly went into uh, into nosedive. Um, I know his
that's
last name
another.
is Thurman.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say before is this is another knock in Zelensky's side of the box. Look, the thing that's troubling me with Zelensky is, with Reagan and
Mhm.
with even Trump to some degree, you could see uh, growing pains.
Yeah,
You could see i- in their own decisions and their own interaction with power and with allies and enemies. You can see them starting to learn how to navigate or how to step into those roles. Zelensky, there's no growth. There's no
I'm not.
change in message. There's no that.
I'm not a big fan of his. Right? He's a fucking comedian. First of all, um, I don't like comedians. Uh,
Yeah, but okay, but at least someone of allegedly Zelensky's temperament and political leaning as like this more like liberal or like Western take, you would expect someone to be more level-headed and what's the word of not agreeable, but compromising. Someone who's willing to find a middle ground.
I am with.
Zelensky has been Zelensky has been markedly inflexible to a degree I can't find authentic. I
Um,
just can't.
what? I mean, he's literally at war. I'm sorry. I am listening, but I'm at 34%. I gotta plug this thing in, or you're gonna lose me. So
Well,
go ahead.
I think this is a good time to wrap it up. I'll give you a few minutes for closing. Just some final thoughts. Um, and I think this is a good point to end on. We've covered a lot and
Mhm.
then meandered on some.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're fine, dude.
Um, okay. The roots of what's going on in Iran now uh start in 2003 amidst
Mm.
very bad decisions. I'm sorry, I do gotta throw this out there. I more recently discovered that there was a strong anti-Iranian faction in Iraq. Um, they're not popular with the
No.
people. Oh, this is a cult, right? This is a religious cult, and part of my theory is that maybe we thought if we could make contact with them, they could help us going into Iran. Well, then we got there and we found out what they really were. Oh no, 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 we're not touching these people. Um,
No.
it it's the MEK that you keep hearing about. Um,
Mm.
yeah, they're bad, 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 bad people. Um, but moving on past that for a moment. Um, the roots to where we are now were sown in 2003 amidst bad decisions. And I'm sorry, Bush Jr. was stupid. We should not have done that. Um,
Hmm.
we should have gone after Iran to begin with. But the justification was just kind of not there enough, right? Um,
Mm.
whereas we already had this pre-existing animus with Iraq. Hey, we can just open that. We can use that as the door to get into. Well, that door got slammed shut from the other side and barricaded, and they literally used our own stupidity uh, to fight us. And congratulations, they did a brilliant, brilliant job. All right, I have to respect it. Um, the road to Ukraine it really is not smooth or straight. You know, you want to talk about corruption in Ukraine? Keep talking. It's all true. I mean, all of it. Um,
Yeah.
even if Zelensky was trying to deal with it, he wasn't doing a very fucking good job. All
Mm.
right, and that is the claim is yeah, oh yeah, he was
No.
fighting the aggressors. Yeah, okay.
No, it wasn't.
Um,
He was too busy blowing his brains on blow. Like that's
that may be true. He and, and that's actually pretty common at certain levels. Um, but the previous administrations were really just puppets of foreign powers. And when the people finally said, no,
yeah.
this is what we want, and he turned the Gestapo really loose, um, well, the foreign funded Gestapo loose, all hell broke loose, and he ended up having to flee. He's still in Russia today. Um, in
Wait, did he did okay, go on.
um, all of this, where we are now. If we first of all, if we just ignored Iraq and gone straight for Iran, um, we wouldn't be here now. Or at least when 2022 happened, it wouldn't have been anything to do with us. We could have stopped and said, "Hey, this, you know, it is what it is." Um, if we'd stood up to Russia in 2022, and by standing up, I mean give Ukraine what they needed to fight Russia. They were literally 10 votes away from taking back Ukraine. Excuse me, Crimea. 10 votes stalled uh, the arms shipments long enough that Russia was able to shore up their positions over the winter, and now it's bogged down for fucking 4 years. We're only 4 years into a 3-day operation, which as 3-month operation. Um,
Hmm.
and where are we now? We're nowhere. All right, we're fucking around with Hormuz rather than taking out really taking the snake out. Fuck the head. The head was never relevant. The snake needed to be taken
Hmm.
out, and instead we're fucking around with the tail like has something to do with anything. This is a joke. I go to sleep every night thinking that tomorrow had better be some kind of good news. All right, because this is ridiculous. The you
Yeah,
know I am.
you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. I know it. That's what sucks. I'm going to say
And
something about
what is
huh?
go on.
I'm going to say something about Donnie. And well,
Hmm.
not so much Ronnie. Um, but Barack and Bill Clinton. I think Bill Clinton was the first of the really corrupt, and George Bush Senior was or Junior was the last of the mostly uncorrupt
Oh,
president.
that is the most that is the most white pill thing I've ever heard.
I don't give a shit.
That
Um,
is hope eternal.
um, when we elect somebody to be president, we are also electing them to be commander in chief. All right. So they
Hmm.
do have to understand what the military is, what they can do, what they can't do, what the branches can and can't do. All right. There's this great scene in a film about World War II where some Navy boats end up at an Army base. And they aren't because these boats are capable of destroying the Japanese, but the Army doesn't know what to do with them. So instead, they're assigned to running messages back and forth to the mainland or some stupid shit like that. Because the Army does not understand boats. And a president needs to understand the branches of the military and what they can and cannot do. And that's one of Donnie's problems. He does not understand the military. Uh, he's playing these games about, you know, he's going to get this thing by next week. How? You seem to think that the F-35s are the answer to everything. So no, they're not the answer to anything. Even F-22 isn't the answer to everything.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been watching other streamers, and there's a huge problem with the obvious bullshit messaging that's coming out of Trump and the White House concerning the status of the war, and it's clearly motivated by politics and the stock market, and it's not acceptable. That is not how you conduct the war game.
um, this thing could have been over in 2 weeks. All right. and we fucked it up completely. And now it's probably going to take about 5 years.
Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where we are now.
I have no disagreement with that. In any case, this has been fun. I miss these things. We need to do more of them. Get a few more people on stream, pull up some topics, and just have at it. Um,
Am I still here?
what the heck is that? I think my internet just restarted real quick. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I can
I
still
think
hear you.
my computer just rebooted just a little bit. So, with that, we'll end the stream. Uh, Godspeed, everybody. Good night.
Keep calm and magic carry on.